So I got really mad at the Wizard of Oz yesterday. Nate and I played a bunch of pinball, and then we came home and played some more pinball. He's been taking notes on his year review of all the cool stuff that's happened. It's Coast to Coast Pinball, episode 54. Let's go.
Welcome to Coast to Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers, joined by the lovely Teresa.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a headset.
Before we get into that, This is a podcast. It's a commentary, and we're both out of quarters.
We are.
And nickels.
And nickels.
And nickels. So we spent some time yesterday on New Year's Eve at the big party that is Nickel City Amusement Center in North San Diego. And how was the New Year's Eve party we went to last night?
The sofa was great.
Did you see midnight?
No. I got in bed at like 11:45. You came and said goodnight to me. And I remember it was like 5 minutes till, so we went ahead and gave our I love yous and kisses early.
It was midnight somewhere. So early in the day, we decided to take a drive up north and play some pinball. Teresa hadn't played pinball machines outside of this condo in
a while.
A long time.
Well, no, because we did the truck stop.
Well, okay, that's true. You did play one game of AC/DC and one game of Avengers in Claremore.
That's true, yeah.
But we went into Nickel City, which has a lineup right now of Lethal Weapon 3, Wizard of Oz,
Indiana Jones
Stern version, Tron Pro, and The Simpsons Pinball Party.
Yes.
And we only played 3 of the games. We didn't play any Lethal Weapon or Simpsons. We came in and played mostly Wizard of Oz first. Mm-hmm. Teresa got another round at that. What did you think? You hadn't seen it in a while.
I actually liked it a lot. Like, I loved the whole, if you go out on the out lane on the right-hand side, you can do the save Toto, like to try to save your ball. Yep. And I did one time.
You did? She made the shot.
Exciting.
I gave her all the pressure. I'm like, you have one shot to save Toto.
Crap.
And you hit it.
Well, actually, first he told me I only had one shot. And then, after I freaked out, he was like, oh, no, sorry, it's a timer. They changed it. So now it's not just...
I think they lengthened the timer or something. Because when I originally played that little mini game, you had like one moment to shoot the flipper.
Well, they updated it, clearly.
Since the update,
But it was very fun. And I don't think I'd spent enough time with it because it's so pretty. And I think watching Nate play also gave me time to look at everything and like getting the rainbow letters and the trees. And I had finally got up to the little mini play field where you're trying to like knock down the door or open the door or whatever it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, the rescue area.
It's really awesome.
You like that?
I was like much more living, although I did start hating it because
that game
the machine
started
turned.
outlaning you pretty bad, didn't it?
Like without even hitting a flipper.
Yeah, she would launch the ball around past the skill shot and into the evil tree bumpers, and then it would bump and shoot the ball straight down the middle or to the right outline.
Like so many times.
Over and over. I felt pretty bad for her. I felt pretty bad for my nickels I was wasting, too.
Yeah.
How weird is it to have pinball machines run on nickels?
I know.
And that game's 20 nickels.
Just sit there like bent down just feeding it.
Now, granted, they do take dollar bills, too. But when you come in, you think, oh, I need some nickels because it's Nickel City. So you buy a bag of nickels.
We shouldn't buy any.
One of the games didn't used to have a dollar changer on it. So I would always
remember.
But I think they all have them now.
Yeah. Anyway, after we played that for a while, I was mad, so I quit playing.
Steam was coming off.
Yeah,
of your brow.
I get so angry, and I feel like this machine like has a soul inside of it, and that they turn against me sometimes. Anyway, so I went and played
Those
Tron.
games don't. Some do, those don't.
Well, I played Tron, and I continue to absolutely love that game. It's so good.
You're a big fan of Tron,
I
aren't you?
love that game.
I had a good run. I usually don't play very well in that game, and I had one game.
Yeah, you had one game that was really good.
Really good.
No, I love it. And Nate has still not seen the movie, which, wow, the sci-fi nerd in me just cringes. But yeah, that game rules. Love it.
It's fast.
Yeah, and I saw you get the jumping to Indiana Jones, the 8-ball multi-ball.
The 8-ball multi, yeah.
Oh, it was awesome.
Pretty neat. It's kind of hectic.
But it was awesome.
There was a flipper sticking on the game. Do you see the right flipper was sticking up on that?
Yeah, I played it, and I was like, what the
I played
double
that
hockey sticks.
tournament there at Nickel City a couple months back.
I remember.
And with the San Diego Pinball Group or League or whatever they call themselves. And the guy who runs and owns those machines was there that night putting on the tournament. And at the time, his games were all pristine and clean. Yesterday, they were a little...
It's like Palomar Entertainment.
Palomar Amusements, yeah. Games were a little dirty yesterday and a sticking flipper. And there's a few lights out. I don't know if you saw that. There were some lights that were not lighting up. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Well, and the red slipper was off of one
Wizard
of the flippers.
the top of the flipper.
Yeah.
I've seen that actually in New York also. That seems to come off. I don't know if balls, just the whatever they use to adhese those red slippers.
Working.
Yeah, it's not holding up, or if air balls are hitting that and knocking off somehow. But I've seen that in a couple spots.
I wonder if he's like the guy who owns them is thinking holidays, kids are out of school, parents are going to be bringing them here. I'll just let them get kind of junky, and I'll wait till after the new year, and then I'll come in and fix them.
It could be. I've talked to other operators who say that when they have a game on location, it doesn't take a long time to get a game from really clean and waxed to kind of dirty. If it gets a lot of play all day long, a lot of that too. You got to keep your balls clean.
Yeah, that's good advice in all sorts of different arenas.
Oh, like tennis? You should always use fresh balls there.
Yeah. Golf?
That's good. Golf. I like to use a fresh golf ball.
I know. You really get excited about the new nice balls.
I don't like what you're doing with your hand there. I don't know what that's supposed to mean over there, Teresa.
You're holding your tennis or your golf balls.
Oh, I see. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's January 1st.
I know. It's
2014.
2014. It's cool.
Yeah, I wanted to have Teresa on just to say hello. And I know I had some emails asking where you were.
I've been in a cave. That's where he keeps me.
That's true.
And he throws me some vegetables and fruits at times. And
you played some Bride of Pinball. You've had some time with it now. You've had it a few months. What do you think?
I think I really suck at the one really important ramp shot that you're supposed to be good at to actually have anything happen. Yeah. I'm really good at the small wheel
left
back
orbit
behind.
type shot. Yeah.
I get that a lot. I'm really good at
I can't hit that shot.
The little spirally fun ramp. The little the heart one. You know.
Heart ramp. Yeah, that's the heart ramp.
Okay, I'm really good at that. And today I got the four loop combination.
Combo.
And I was like, whoa, why is it going crazy with the lights? So I never actually make the Bride of Pinball do much of anything, but I'm good at all the other stuff.
Well, that's good. You almost hit the 8 million point jackpot.
Oh my goodness. When I did the small wheel, it landed on 8 million. But you have to do the ramp that I'm crappy at. And it was just the pressure, and I didn't like it.
For those of you who don't know Bride of Pinball, the back glass is sort of interactive. I wouldn't say interactive really, but it does keep your jackpot score for you up on the translite. Her leg has 1 million through 1 million through 8 million listed on there. And it actually holds the jackpot over game to game, and you turn the game off, and it saves it in the memory. And you build it up as you play. And I think it's been flashing on 8 million for like 3 weeks now. I haven't hit that
no
shot.
one has ever hit it?
I'm bad at that shot. I mean, first of all, you have to hit the small wheel shot, and you have to randomly get, try for jackpot,
right.
And then you have to hit it again. And I'm bad at that shot.
Oh, you hit that? You don't go up the rocket ship?
No.
Oh, see, I wasn't understanding.
Oh, I got you.
I have a question, just maybe off topic. Bride of Pinball. What's the purpose of a belly button on a robot?
Looks good.
There was
no
umbilical cord there.
Starting point?
Oh, yeah, starting point.
I don't know.
Up or down from there?
I think she has nipples, too. Maybe
no,
not.
she has a big cage over her boobs.
Oh, well, but what's the point of any of it, really?
Well, I can see why she has boobs. Why are her lips red? Because that's like, okay, yeah. No, red lips and the belly button are all about aesthetics, I suppose.
Or maybe it was a bunch of men creating
It's a bunch of dudes. Let's give the robot big boobs.
Oh, you'd love Python Angelo if you knew the guy that designed that.
Is he
He's
a feminist?
He's a character.
That's a nice way of saying something.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, are you going to come back on when we do the preview for 2014 a little bit? Or is this it for Terry?
No.
I'm sorry we're not accosting you as you're going to bed like we normally do.
I know. It's nice. I'm actually awake. I have to walk my dog.
You can walk the dog. Did you have a good 2013? And we're talking about pinball here.
Okay. Yes.
Why was it a good 2013?
Regarding pinball?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the best and worst for me.
For you. This is all for you.
Regarding pinball.
Yep.
Worst, driving to that really smelly city to get Bride of Pinball.
Oh, Bakersfield.
That was horrible.
Yeah, but we got Bride of Pinball.
I know, but it was like, ugh. No, that was a bad. The highs, obviously playing Attack from Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Love that game.
How about the times we keep going to see that Attack from Mars? It's like 5 minutes from us and it's out of order. I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, that sucks at the pizza port.
Yeah.
They need to fix their machine.
We'll go check it this weekend.
Like, we don't even bother to eat there anymore. It's like we walk in, if it's broken, we leave. Another high. Was it this year that we did Vegas?
No, that was last year.
Okay.
We did not go to the Pinball Hall of Fame in the year 2013.
Wow.
Pretty bad.
I know. I liked it that we found...
Oh, you know what? I'm lying. I think we went on January 2nd.
We did.
It was January 2nd.
We started the year with a lot of pinball.
That's right.
It's just been fun because I know how much you love this podcast.
I do. I love this podcast.
I like modeling your T-shirts, although you haven't really posted any pictures of me and your T-shirts.
Yeah, we need to get on that.
But I like it when you get a new
How about
batch.
I put stickers right here and here on you, and we'll stick a picture of that?
Yeah, that's not
on your shoulders.
That's not where he pointed, ladies and gentlemen. But no, it's been fun because while you do your research and talk about different machines, I get to, go with you and try them. And
how do you feel about everybody that listens to the show thinks you're my wife?
Aw. Well, we are opposite sex life partners.
We are.
So it's like a...
I think that's it. In the dictionary, that's defined as too lazy to get married.
It's not true. That's fine. I'm his girlfriend / life partner.
You're my muse, baby.
I like that.
Of course you do.
Anyway,
right. Go walk your dog. I got to review this past year, 2013. I can't review 2014 yet.
Is it mostly good?
Yeah, it was a great year.
Yeah.
Interesting year. Busy year.
Yeah, it seems like pinball is on the rise again.
I hope so.
I do too.
Bodes well for this.
It does.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody, for now.
What a year, huh? 2013. It like Teresa just said, and we came to the conclusion. We started the year at the Pinball Hall of Fame, and we ended the year driving all over the place, not playing as much pinball as I would have liked. So I made some notes over the last few days, just kind of looking back at 2013, and what a cool year. And I think this year can be defined by a couple large arching themes. I think this was really the rise of the boutique builder. People are looking at pinball and thinking, I can do that. I can make that. That could be my creative outlet. That could be my business. That could be, my hobby, building games, not just playing them, not just running your mouth about them or whatever you happen to do. Very much the rise of the boutique builder. Weird year for prices of pinball. We'll get into that. Very interesting. But let's kind of take a top-down look at 2013.
And the year was...
And the year was 2013, of course. So I think the conversation needs to always start with Stern. Until some major shift in this industry happens, Stern is the battleship out in front of everything. They're the ones leading the charge of the pinball hobby as far as, creating new games, outlets of creativity for some of the greatest minds that pinball has ever seen. And I think it's really interesting what they did this year. So Avengers was announced in 2012, November 2012, but it didn't really start shipping until this year. So we saw Avengers roll off the line, and it's possible, not for sure or anything, but it's possible that that's the last game we ever see designed by George Gomez. And as he's taken more of a leadership role at Stern and stepped away from the designing, I think that becomes more and more possible for a guy who really had some amazing designs and innovative designs and, loved designs. Avengers might be it for George. Now, if I were to bet, I'd bet it's not. I'll bet something happens somewhere down the line, he designs a game. But as it stands now, I don't think he'll be designing anything. So Avengers hit, and I think the theme was sort of met with not exactly enthusiasm, more kind of like, oh, okay, Avengers. We had X-Men, we had Spider-Man, we had comic books. It made sense. Now, Avengers the movie was very popular. People liked it. Comic book fans, I think, liked it as well. The game hit, and there was that group that went out and bought the higher priced versions that really touted how great it was, and it was different. I mean, I will give George Gomez that. It's a different layout. I've spoken about it to death on this podcast, and all I will say was I don't think history is going to treat that game very well. And that's how Stern started the year, which is sort of an unfortunate kind of start because they had really been on riding a high with AC/DC. AC/DC just kind of carried 2012 for them. AC/DC was the game of 2012, hands down, no discussion really. But in 2013, Avengers came out. Well, next, Metallica was announced. Metallica was an interesting one on the announcement side of things because you had sort of the yin and the yang. You had people who were so excited, like, yes, another rock and roll theme. I love this band. This is going to be awesome. And then you had these other people who were just like, never. I hate this band. I hate Metallica. I don't like heavy metal. Quit doing these music themes. Blah, blah, blah. But then you also had the John Borg fans, I think, who just wanted to see what he would do with it. Then the game artwork was released, and all of a sudden, the tide just shifted. Metallica's artwork was released, and people got really excited because there were these versions with original hand-drawn artwork all across not only the playfield, the back glass, the cabinet, and there was this definite push. In fact, the one road case version that we saw as the premium, I think originally kind of got scrapped at some point because people just weren't excited about that because of the Dirty Donnie hand-drawn art was such a driving force that I'm sure Gary Stern took note of that. So Metallica came out, and then the toys were awesome too, right? The Pro came out with the Sparky guy, and it was just cool. Metal ramps felt great. The game had nice flow. It was sort of a simple layout on some level. I mean, there's a scoop, there's a couple ramps, there's a toy up the middle, some magnets, and awesome. People loved it. I loved it. I thought it looked great. It played great. And when I first played a limited edition, the light show was awesome. Really fantastic. Have there been some hang-ups with Metallica? Yes. I mean, obviously, there's been a few things in the premium and limited edition that haven't exactly gone the way we wanted with, like, magnets and the hammer toy. Just some design things that maybe could have used another 3 to 4 months of thought there. But I think the story right now here at the end of 2013, beginning of 2014 on Metallica is, where is the freaking code update? And I know I have a friend of mine who seems to know, and he told me that it's coming within about 2 weeks. 2 weeks or less is what he thought. I feel like it's going to be a little longer than that, but he thinks it's going to be a big fix. There's just stuff not in that game that's printed on the playfield still, months and months and months and months later. You have a mystery shot that always gives you the same prize. I mean, there's just some things that are really messed up with that game. And for such a great game that's sold very well, it's really disappointing to be sitting here so much later with like no recent update. Just people feel like they're left hanging, and that's unfortunately, I think, sort of the theme with the past few Stern games. Obviously, X-Men, AC/DC seemed to be kind of finished off pretty good. Might need a little bit of polishing here, and then Avengers has some problems too. So interesting that such a great game is starting to kind of become overshadowed by this really haphazard, non-finished code situation that Stern's let happen. They continued the year with a theme that I think a lot of us knew was coming eventually, and many people were excited about, and that was Star Trek. J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies have been very successful. I think, personally, they're great movies. The game was announced, people were excited, and then the playfield art was shown, and the playfield layout, and people were kind of like, what? That's it? Like, that can't be the real art. There's got to be something more. And then we had word of a Starfield projector, and people thought, oh, it'll cover the whole thing in stars, and people weren't real excited all of a sudden that this lame kind of lack of art was going to really bum them out on the game. And a lot of people compared the layout to either the past Star Trek The Next Generation layout or Spider-Man, and there was a lot of kind of mixed signals coming from, I thought, the community, reading the forums on, am I excited about this? Then people started playing the game, and it's just fun. Stern released another really fun game to play. It's fast, it feels smooth. The code came out pretty bad at first. First update fixed a lot. I think it's still in its early days. There's a lot more that could be done with it. The modes are all very similar. It's a lot of the same shots over and over on every mode. I think that, when Stern finally gets I know they have a new programmer, and when they finally get the programming done on some of these games, and when they start releasing games with cooler rule sets, we could be in a really great time for pinball, because I know they've got some new technology coming down the road. They're going to get pushed by all these other manufacturers to do new and exciting things. If you just get the code right, because if the platforms are there, AC/DC, awesome platform. Metallica, awesome platform. Star Trek, awesome platform. So, again, I think Star Trek's awesome. I've really been on the fence wanting to buy it. And one of the great things about Star Trek is the pro game plays really well. Metallica, the pro game plays really well. And if they can keep that up, I think they're in good shape with some of these releases. And then Stern sort of capped off the year. Gary gave the same speech again at Expo that he's kind of been giving. We need games that are easy to learn, hard to master. We need to appeal to, women, children, etc., anybody other than me, because we already got me. And we need to still, market half of our business to the foreign market, and a lot of the U.S. business goes to the collectors, and so same kind of forward on. They have increased their staff. I think the game build quality seems to be getting better. We're seeing some metal ramps. We're seeing some innovative things with Starfield projectors. I feel like Stern's in a good position right now. I really do feel that. They wouldn't be hiring new designers and bringing in John Trudeau if they weren't in a good position and have some money. So I think things bode well for Gary and the boys. They capped off the year by announcing a theme that has been met with quite a bit of apathy, I think, overall, with Ford Mustang, 50 years of Mustang. We'll see. I think that's sort of like vanilla ice cream for pinball to me. Maybe chocolate ice cream. It's just sort of a theme that I don't know if anybody was really going to get that excited about, other than obviously Mustang or car fans. But if you make a great game behind it, that's fine. If Harley Davidson was a really amazing game, people would be buying that and trading that, and it would have done really well based on the merits of the game. Fact is, it wasn't that great of a game, and the people that really got behind that game, I think, were Harley lovers. So we shall see what 2014 brings for Stern. I think one of the biggest stories of the entire year, though, has to be Jersey Jack finally shipping Wizard of Oz machines. It's huge. I mean, this was like 3 years ago they announced this company. We had one of the big Stern distributors come out and say, I'm going to build metal machines, because they thought Jack thought he could build a better mousetrap. And he took a lot of money from people. He had a bumpy ride. He drew it out a long time. He showed people the whole way what was going on, which was a different approach from what Stern had been doing. And finally, in this year, we saw actual Wizard of Oz machines hit the shipping docks. And I gotta say, overall, first game, brand new manufacturer, I'm pretty impressed. Not an easy thing to do to, go from not building games to building a bunch of games. And it was a big team with a lot of smart people over there, a lot of effort, a lot of money, I'm sure. I don't think they've made any money yet. I think we're still digging out of back orders, unfortunately, here in the 1st of January 2014. There are still people who paid a long time ago waiting to get their game. They are, now they have announced this ruby red version, which has burned some of those people. The price of the game has gone up. The LCD screen has moved the needle. I think it is forcing Stern's hand. I don't know that Stern would have put an LCD screen in a pinball machine anytime soon if Jersey Jack hadn't done what they're doing. If you listen to the way Gary talks in 2011, 2012, they're building retro pinball machines. That's a big thing for them. Retro games. These are games that are pinball machines. They weren't trying to rebuild the mousetrap. And I think that you can't help but feel the pressure when you actually walk into a bar in Chicago and see a Wizard of Oz sitting there with this bright, LED color-changing playfield in this LCD high-def display with Dorothy, running around and the witch flying off at the end. That's got to kind of make your stomach sink a little bit if you're a Stern employee who's been saying, we don't need LCDs. We're building retro games. So if nothing else, if Jersey Jack is a one and done, or more than likely, if they were to go out, it'd be a two and done, because The Hobbit's going to happen. If they were to go out of business and go away, if nothing else, they force the hand of the big boys, and the big boys are going to make some changes because of it. Now, I believe that Jersey Jack Pinball will be here for a long time. I think that they have proven themselves enough to get enough sales from repeat customers now that they're going to sell a lot of Hobbits. I think the Hobbit as a theme just plays so much better to the core audience that's buying all the Stern new in-box games. I think they will be here for a while. It'll be interesting to see if this level of production hurts them in the long run. So, obviously they did announce Game 2 this year. Jersey Jack announced they're building the Hobbit machine. It's kind of I think on some levels, sort of a coup for them to get that theme and get the license of the Hobbit after Stern had a lot of success with Lord of the Rings. And obviously these are, Tolkien, writings. And good move. I mean, absolutely good move. They showed us some art. They showed us a sketch of the playfield. It looks like they're going to take the same approach as last time. Try and get money in early and show us the production as much as they can the whole way. And it's going to be an interesting fourth quarter, I think, in the pinball community, seeing if the Hobbit makes it on time or not, because they are contractually obligated to get that machine out. So it's interesting. So, Jersey Jack has, solidly cemented themselves as the number 2 pinball manufacturer in the world in 2013. So I said that this year I think was defined by the rise of the boutique builder. And if you remember back a year ago where we were, Spooky Pinball was not building machines. Planetary Pinball was not building machines. We had a couple low production run games announced and sold, but it's really a different landscape now. Things are different now. Let's take a look at that. First of all, in February, Charlie and the Spooky Pinball crew started off their podcast with a big announcement that they were going to become a pinball manufacturer. Charlie quit his job and he jumped in feet first to the world of building games, designing games, doing the art, building the rule. I mean, the whole thing, and building the actual game, which that's got to be the hardest part, right? I mean, actually putting together a pinball machine, not just one, dozens and dozens, hundreds. And they eventually announced that Pinball Zombies from Beyond the Grave would be the first Spooky Pinball LLC designed pinball game, but the first game that the company was going to build. And this was a great move, get their production up and running, get the company actually building something, was Ben Heck's design, which was known as Ghost Squad, and then changed to America's Most Haunted. And they're about to ship games. If you listen to the recent Spooky Pinball podcast, I think that came out yesterday or today or whenever it was, they're talking January shipments. So I know that when Ben was on the show, he was saying 100 games. I think that number's too low. I think they're going to sell 100 of them, no problem. Even with some of the other things happening, I think that will happen. I think it's a cool game. It's a cool design. It's a great theme. I think they fixed the artwork. I think they were fantastic in how much they listened to. And I think it's the problem with one guy doing everything is you can sort of corner yourself into ideas, whether it be rule set or art, where you're doing all of it, and sometimes you do something and you're like, oh, that looks good, and you just move on, and you don't have that like second layer of, well, what if it looked like this? Well, Ben was smart enough to know that if I throw this out there to all the people on the Pinside forums, they'll be my second layer of like checking. They'll tell me. And you can't listen to everybody on everything, but I think he did a good job picking the right things out of what was told to him to go back and try and tweak and fix. And operating on the level he's at, he was able to. And I think we have a much better art package on a game now. I remember very specifically on this podcast a few months ago saying it would really be a shame if such a cool game was brought down by the original artwork package. It just wasn't that cool. So Spooky Pinball should be actually building and shipping 2 separate games here in 2014. It's pretty great. You also had some stuff come out of left field. You had, the Medieval Madness remake announcement. Planetary Pinball, who had the rights to the Williams and Bally, part, reproductions and game reproduction rights. We talked about reproduction games. It was always sort of this abstract idea of, if somebody could build a Medieval Madness or build an Attack from Mars, they'd sell tons of them. Why isn't anybody doing that? Why isn't Jersey Jack just building Medieval Madness? Blah, 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 blah. Well, then Planetary kind of just does it. They say, okay, we're going to do it. They put a plan together, kept it pretty quiet, and they just pulled the sheet back and announced it. And they sold 1,000 games at $8,000 in 3 hours. It's pretty huge. It's $8 million, just bang. And then they announced they'd make more. They're going to build this thing till everyone has one. So that's a huge story this year. That one of the highest regarded, if not the highest regarded, game from the DMD era is now being rebuilt with some modern technological advances, but the same play field, same vibe, same feel, same art. It's pretty cool. I think it's a good thing. Super excited to see one of these games and play one of these, even though I'm currently not buying one of these games. Huge story, and Planetary Pinball could become a major player in the sales of new in-box games, even if they're just all reproductions, because they don't have to design anything. They don't have to pay big-name designers, yearly salary or project salary. Games are designed. They have the rights to them. They just gotta, get the prototype up and working, get it approved, and build it with the Chicago Coin Company doing that actual manufacturing. It's a big deal. Sort of the team, the little guys that could early on, even in 2012, was the Skit B team. They were sort of the early group that said, we're going to take a stab at building their own game with the Predator license. They went out and got the license to build a Predator machine, a limited number. They sold them all. And I think a lot of people really hoped that by this point we would be a little further along with the Skit B folks. And I'd love to have them come on the show soon. And I will reach out to them, because I think we're sort of getting to a point where they're getting a little forgotten about, which maybe doesn't matter because they sold other games, right? So they're just trying to now get the product out. But I think we sort of figured we'd have this game now. They were taking the P-Rock unit and running with it before a lot of these other folks. So a little surprising. Dutch Pinball. I think this was the tip of the iceberg for Dutch Pinball, it sounds like, if you really read about these guys and see what they've done. So they had done, the gentleman over at Dutch Pinball had done the Demolition Man on steroids game, rewriting the rule set, using a P-Rock controller to do that. And then we saw what they were able to do with Bride of Pinbot 2.0. Pretty cool. Basically take a game that's already here, a game that's kind of beloved as far as theme and mechanics and looks goes, and rewrite the rules, rewrite the DMDs, do it all from the ground up, add a DMD, excuse me, they didn't even have a DMD, add a DMD, and really transform a alphanumeric game into a modern, well, I shouldn't say modern, but yeah, a modern DMD game. And that was pretty cool. And they're going to sell the kit to upgrade these Bride of Pinball games for it. Well, now here at the end of the year, they announced they're going to build a game from the ground up. They're building the Big Lebowski Pinball, which, obviously a very niche theme that there's been a gathering of people who've been very vocal about wanting to own and willing to buy a Big Lebowski themed pinball machine. And I think you couple that guaranteed, at least you're going to sell 100 games, right? At least you got 100 of them sold. But you have this team of guys who just seem to take a lot of care and put a lot of effort into what they're doing. And that combination, they may do something very special here. So I really look forward to watching the progression of the Big Lebowski pinball machine through 2014. That's going to be awesome. I also want to mention Highway Pinball. Late in 2012, Highway Pinball, I believe at Expo 2012, announced that they were not going to be building the Circe's Garden? Circe's, I forget what Circe's game was going to be. Sort of like a Greek gods type mythology game. And they were actually going to build a motorcycle racing themed pinball machine called Full Throttle. And Highway Pinball is another group or individual on some level, who very much listened to what people had to say. And I think at times he maybe took it took it too far. Like really almost, I think Andrew Highway might have had his feelings hurt a little bit. He seemed really concerned with what people thought. And probably for the best. I think it's better to delay and take time and release something that people will like and be drawn to than release something they won't be. However, I'm still not sold on this theme. And maybe I just need to take the same approach as I am with the Ford Mustang game. You know, maybe if the game is really fun, really amazing, it won't matter that it's sort of a kind of a bland theme to me, a motorcycle racing game theme. I will say this, the ramps look really great on that game. There's a cool screen on the playfield, but the actual play that I've seen videos of doesn't jump out at me as like, oh my gosh, you know. I don't know. I guess when I look at, you know, even America's Most Haunted just has such a cooler vibe to me, and I'm just one guy. So what do I know? I'm excited, though. I would love to talk to Andrew Highway. That'd be really great. I think these are really the early days for the P-Rock platform. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting seeing all these games come. I'm really looking forward to where we are, 2 years from now. Who's still standing? I thought it was interesting, Charlie from Spooky Pinball in his latest podcast sort of seemed to think that not everyone's going to make it, which is probably true, but very kind of, I don't want to use not the term doomsday, but very cautious about this. I think that people that saw the pinball crash of the late 90s are probably, and rightly so, tepid in their enthusiasm towards all of this happening at once and banking a lot on it because, as we've seen with the prices this year, things don't go up and expand forever at super fast rates. So, interesting stuff. I think that this year we also need to talk about location pinball. There are more barcades, quote unquote, opening up around the country. More people are putting pinball machines back out on location. I've seen it happen. I've seen games pop up in all sorts of interesting places, from truck stops to theaters again, where they used to always be, to bars and restaurants and pizza parlors again. It's a good thing. There's big collections, being fleshed out and opened up. We had Modern Pinball in New York City. We had Jack Bar in Brooklyn. We had, where I just was in Oklahoma City at Cactus Jack's, there's, I think, a renewed interest in getting pinball out there in cities and large population areas. I think we're going to see something big in Southern California eventually. I just don't know when. I've seen some great collections, though, and this was a year where they seemed to be very well taken care of and promoted. The bowling alley in Cambridge, Mass, which I'm blanking on, Lanes and Games maybe, great collection. Pinball Wizard Arcade in Pelham, New Hampshire, adding and making it better. The Pinball Hall of Fame in Las Vegas, I think, just announced that they were completely debt free or paid off their building or something to that effect. I apologize that I don't know exactly the details there, but there's a lot going on, and I get emails from people all the time like, hey, if you're in my town, check out these games that I put up. Great story a couple months ago that I didn't cover that I should have on the Pacific Pinball Museum up in the Bay Area. They have reached a deal to renovate a former library, I believe, in Alameda. I want to say it's in Alameda. And it's this big, giant, historic building. And if they do that, it's like a $4 million kind of renovation to bring the building up to modern code and standards. They're going to get to rent or lease that building to use for the Pinball Museum, Pacific Pinball Museum, for $1 a year, which is awesome. So basically, pay to fix this up and it's yours to use. And that could become just a mecca, because that group has 1,000 games. And so they're working on raising that money right now. So I think not only playing on location, but competing on location had a good year. Papa has made big steps forward through their Kickstarter. I think Papa, the TV show, is a great idea. I'm about to watch episode 2 tonight, so you'll hear me talk about that in the next episode of this podcast. I think that's awesome. I think the IFPA is poised to really grow even more after having a good year and their name and their system getting out more and more. Tournaments are popping up more. It's location pinball has to thrive. This can't be all in our bedrooms and in our game rooms. We need it on location. So I tried as much as I could to go out and put money in machines, and I hope you do too, if you really do love pinball and love the hobby. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the rise of the pinball podcast this year. You were listening to a podcast that was born here in 2013. Coast2Coast Pinball started in June. We're recording episode 54 here on January 1st. Pinball Soul started a little bit before us. Josh Blood's blog and podcast was a great addition this year. The Broken Token was a kind of a late addition in the year. They're sort of a game room and pinball. The Pinheads Pinball podcast out of Australia just launched. They have a few episodes out now. I think the Game Room Junkies had a great year. From listening start to finish on them, I felt that pinball has sort of captured both of their hearts a little bit more, and has been the driving force behind their show. They are, putting on a Game Room Expo, the Southern Fried Game Room Expo, this summer in Atlanta. I think that's awesome. That shows their commitment to what they're doing. And obviously we talked about Spooky Pinball, and they still are putting out their monthly show. Don and Jeff of the Pinball Podcast, I think, put out some of their best shows ever in the past few months. So you've got some great monthly shows, and you've got me I'm selling you shirts and stickers. So big year for podcasts, right? And I really appreciate it on that front. Some of the other themes of the year, when I started looking back at my notes and looking through the forums and looking at pinball news and everything, obviously LEDs in games, that's a big thing. People are buying used games and they're LEDing them, putting in LEDs. There have been new LED companies pop up. There's been some great price deals on LEDs. It's been a good year for that. And it's a great way to sort of freshen up your games that you might have there. Roller coaster year for prices on vintage games. So when I say vintage games, I'm talking about Bally Williams games and Data East games and Sega games. I'm not talking about EMs, I'm talking about anything that's, 15, 20 years older or more. Starting the year, we were just at record high prices. Games were just skyrocketing. We were seeing just run of the mill. Anything that said Bally Williams and had a DMD display on it was $2,000 and above, it seemed like. It wasn't always true, but it certainly did seem like that. You saw the A-list games just skyrocket. Twilight Zone selling for $7,000 to $8,000. Attack from Mars were $9,000. Medieval Madnesses for $15,000. And, for a myriad of reasons, that has slowed down. Prices have come down. I think that we have this really interesting relationship with new in-box games, and we're talking about games from Stern and now Jersey Jack, mostly. The better those games are, the more prices of the old games will drop. So if you release a bunch of games that don't strike a chord with the public, that don't take off, that aren't fun, that aren't, really cool and have a great vibe, people are going to go buy Scared Stiff. People are going to go buy Whitewater. They're going to go buy those games that they have fond memories of, that are proven to be long-lasting collection games that are going to be tons of fun. The thing about this, do you want to buy Wheel of Fortune, or do you want to buy Judge Dredd for half the price? Do you want to buy... I'm blanking on a good game here to use. Do you want to buy Avengers, or do you want to buy Twilight Zone? I mean, when you put it like that, prices are going to go up on those older games. But, Stern has this run here where we have all these AC/DC games sold through 2012 and through now. People are buying AC/DC now. Avengers was meh, like we said. Metallica's a hit. Star Trek's a hit. By the way, Wizard of Oz shipped. People are putting money into The Hobbit. Medieval Madness remake. All these things are happening, and it's slowing people down. And not only are they happening, they're happening at really high prices. The new in-box prices are higher than they've ever been, and it's driving the prices down now of the older games. Because, there's only so much room right now in the hobby. Now, yes, the hobby will grow. People will come into it and eventually start buying games. That's still going to happen. And we'll see another run of that here. But as far as the people with lots of money and lots of space, there's only so much of that. And that's why I think you're seeing what you're seeing. There's some games locally in Southern California below $2,000 that if they had been posted on Craigslist below $2,000 8 months ago would be gone. And they're just sitting there. And if I had more room, I'd go buy some. Really, I would. So roller coaster ride for pricing. And I think it'll be really interesting to watch as Stern goes this year. so will the prices of other games go. I mark my words on that. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, 2013. I think Pinside had a major year, massive year. They did a redesign, and I know their hits and their usage is just through the roof. I don't know if I missed anything major, let me know. Good year for pinball shows. I think this year's going to be even better. And it was a fantastic year, and I really appreciated it. I had a good time with you guys. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Nate.
So, what'd you think of my review of 2013?
I wasn't in here.
You were not in here.
No, I went and watched Spider-Man.
You don't want to, sit here on the couch and, listen to me? That's not fun for you? Oh, you don't want to spoil it because you're going to listen to it? No, never.
No, I'll listen to this one.
No, you won't.
That's not true. I will.
Anyway.
I'm on it.
Good point. Good point.
Sorry. So, you talked about 2013, which, yes, I will listen to that.
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen next year? Or this year, I should say, in 2014. So weird.
So, look forward is what you're asking me?
Oh, yes. So sorry. Yes, let's look forward to 2014.
I did not tell you this.
Nate shivers.
That's not what I told you.
What would you think would happen? No?
All right. So 2014.
Yeah.
I've alluded to some of this in my review of 2013, but what I will say in 2014, I think we're going to see the P-Rock platform, and when I'm talking about the guys that did the Bride of Pinbot recreation,
right.
And I think we're going to see that pushed farther. We're going to see more of that. We're going to see more one-offs. We're going to see more.
Wait, what's a one-off?
I say the Matrix pinball machine that I showed you, where they took
out of Johnny Mnemonic.
Exactly, they took a Johnny Mnemonic and they redid it. But I think we're going to see people be smarter with that and do things and sell things, monetize it somehow, and do more kind of like the Bride of Pinbot 2.0, where they're selling something that isn't a license type thing with Matrix. You would have to go get that license if possible, right, and then sell that. So I think we'll see more of that. I think. Building a pinball machine is hard to do.
Yeah.
So I know there's some guys out there with great ideas. Like that Wrath of Olympus game is so awesome.
Yeah.
I showed you that.
Yeah, no, I love that idea.
He's going to need to get with someone to build that, and he may. But I'm talking about that more of just who's the next guy out there designing a game, maybe digitally, and then moves it to the real world, so to speak. But P-Rock is going to be a big player for years to come. You're going to be able to. I think you're going to have people just rewriting games. Well,
especially Bride of Pinbot, because there's not a lot to it, but it's so cool.
That's an obvious one. I think the problem there is not having a DMD already in place. They have to, sell you a kit with a whole new DMD.
Expensive.
So it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think if you took some of the early DMD games. And did new rule sets and whatnot for that, I think there's some pretty cool stuff that could happen. I also think we're probably going to see. How can I put this? I alluded to this earlier, and Charlie at Spooky Pinball kind of thinks some people are going to go away. We will see somebody fail pretty good. Somebody's going to flop. Yeah, people. Somebody new is going to either run out of money or not have the success and become disenfranchised. That's got to happen.
Yeah.
There'll be some of that. I think it's interesting that we have guys like John Papaduke who have talked about games they're working on, and it's just kind of gone on and on and on. We just haven't seen anything. It's something's got to give with some of these guys. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I think that game prices are going to continue to fluctuate this year. I really think we're still going to move downward in price on a lot of games.
Because people are wanting to get the new stuff?
Yeah, the new stuff's good right now. It's a good time for new pinball machines. So I think there'll be some opportunity there. I think you're going to see more people get into the restoration side of the hobby and work on it from that angle. I think there'll be some more collections open up. I think that competition pinball is poised to become big.
I think that would be really fun. I know that we haven't done it yet, but just thinking about going to that thing in Atlanta, that's fun. Having other people to get to know.
Yeah, and as
traveling.
tournaments, get their name out and become. One of the problems I think we have right now is the two big tournaments are both in Pittsburgh. Papa and then Pinburgh, and they're trying. Papa's doing a great job of going, sort of like on a monthly tournament schedule. We got to get some money into the hobby, and I think that's something to look at for 2014 is how can people find ways to get more money into this hobby? Because I can tell you based on, for a podcast about pinball, I think I've been moderately successful. I can tell you that it's not that many people that are in this hobby actively, and it's a pretty narrow spectrum of people.
So we basically need a famous person to like pinball?
That or some sort of tie-in business, tying pinball in with
like a bar?
Companies. Well, with bigger companies to get money into it. Kind of like poker did. Poker got in with Jack Links and got on TV. And, can poker work on TV? Can pinball work on TV?
Well, I think that's what... I mean, how do you think poker got so popular? On television.
On television, and people could go do it in their local areas.
Okay, so... we need a pinball television show.
Well, and Papa's trying with an internet TV show that I know you haven't seen yet, but I've seen the first episode, and number 2's out now.
But that's the thing. If it's internet, the people who are already in this world are the only ones who are going to watch it.
We're not going to expose new people.
Exactly.
Right.
It needs to be on television.
I agree. And there's lots of cable networks with all sorts of time.
Well, and they need, pitches for cheap shows. So...
Well, we had one. They had the pinball... I forget what it was called, but they were trying to cast for a show.
That's right.
And I haven't kept up with the thread past it, but I haven't heard anything about that since. But I know people are talking about it. I think another thing for 2014 is we're going to see even more of the digital pinball world.
Right.
Especially with what a great job Farsight, the people who are doing all the recreation games on all the platforms that they work on the Pinball Arcade. It's really good. I mean, it's a great way to learn games. If I'm going to go play in a tournament and those games are available on iPad, I'm going to, of course, download by them, play them to death, learn the rules, figure out how to score. So I think that, that's going to keep growing, and hopefully we'll get more guys designing games on their own, and maybe at some point we have a way to build those games.
Well, Spooky Pinball is making their zombie one, right?
Yep, that's all coming.
Are they building one for someone else?
Yep, they're doing Ben Heck's game. But I'm thinking about, virtual pinball. Do we embrace the large scale virtual game? It's like the size of a pinball machine, but digital with a digital screen. That's happening. Does that get bigger this year?
That sounds lame.
Well,
I like all the little parts.
Of course you do. You like the physical aspect of it, but some people like the idea of having.
Well, then it's just a video game.
500 games on a big table.
It's not as special.
I agree, but some people love it.
It's just a video game then.
I think that grows this year in 2014. I think also for 2014, for the podcast side of things, you and I are going to have a big year. We're going to go to some events. We're going to get to meet some more people that are listeners and meet some people in the industry and talk to them. And
yeah, that's fun.
Schlep some more T-shirts around. Teresa's yawning, just straight up Coast to Coast yawn fest with Teresa here.
You came and got me out of bed. I was reading.
It's getting out of bed with Teresa. You like that?
I do like that.
Well,
wait,
what?
They should do a Charlie Brown pinball machine.
Peanuts. That could be cool.
That could be the next big thing.
I doubt it.
That's my prediction.
Well, with Teresa's prediction,
Snoopy.
We're gonna call it a day. Great first day of the year, Teresa.
Thank you.
364 more to go.
It makes it sound very daunting.
I know, right?
But it's exciting.
All right. Well, again, everybody, thank you for the year. Humbled by your response to the show. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the support through purchasing of T-shirts. You can buy stickers. I had a couple of people send me literally $2 PayPal to me. I'll send you some stickers. Coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. Teresa raised her hand. Yes, darling.
Are you going to put a sticker in with each T-shirt purchase now?
Oh, yeah. Anybody that buys a T-shirt now will get stickers. I may even, depending on how much work I have to do next week, just go through and send some envelopes to some people who bought multiple T-shirts.
That's very sweet.
I'm thinking about it. Don't hold me to that. Don't look at me like I'm locked into that.
I think he should be locked in.
We'll see. I got a busy few weeks coming up. We got It Never Drains in California coming up. We're going to go up to that. It's going to be fun. And if you'd like to get a hold of me, you can email me directly at coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. The website is www.coast2coastpinball.com. We will be back with episode 55 in the very near future. Until then, say goodnight, Teresa.
Good night, Teresa.
So bad.